Let's move on to our second main topic today. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Dan Allen. Julie Delpy said that she didn't get equal pay in the first two Before Trilogy movies. On Before Midnight, she received equal pay. Richard Linklater responded that Ethan Hawke took far less than he was deserving of an actor of his caliber. Delpy was new to American audiences at the time. Do you think Linklater's comments were on the right to reply to the situation? And was he right for not paying Delpy as much as Hawke? How do you guys feel about this? And this happened a while ago, but how do you guys feel about the pay discrepancy here?
Well, I mean, it happened a while ago, but by the way, is it Delpy or is it Delpy?
It's Delpy.
It's
Delpy?
Delpy. Because I've always said Delpy.
Yeah.
And then I was reading it again, it's like, wait a minute, that's Delpy?
It's Delpy.
Oh,
There you
dang.
go.
Delpy, yeah.
So Julie Delpy. So just so you know, it was only recently, though, that she came out in an interview and mentioned that for the first two, by the way, if you've never seen the Before Trilogy, you really should. I mean, it looks like the type of movie that isn't made for you, but it's so good you should really watch it. Anyway, she revealed that just recently that she got paid nowhere near what Ethan Hawke got paid for the first two, and then insisted before doing the third that she gets paid the same as Ethan Hawke for the third. Now, after she made those comments, filmmaker Richard Linklater did say the following. He said, "No one involved in the productions considered this an injustice in 1994 because Julie was just getting established in the US, while Ethan was one of the biggest stars in his age range, getting offered seemingly every project in the industry. It's likely the trilogy would not even exist if Ethan didn't choose to come to Vienna that summer and work for a fraction of what he could have been making on another project." So we had a little bit, this kind of came up before. Now, it should be pointed out that they go on to stipulate and mention that, you know, the agents negotiated their clients' deals individually, right? So the Ethan Hawke's agent negotiated Ethan Hawke's fee. Julie's agent negotiated Julie's fee for the first film. And it came in significantly lower than Ethan's. I think on the second film, she got half of what Ethan got paid. And then by the third film, she insisted she be paid equally. This is a topic that has come up, and I'm going to say something that might sound surprising, but yeah, that sounds about right. It sounds about right. Because honestly, look, Julie's been around for a long time now. And how many of you guys knew her name? Probably not a lot. Now you go back to when they were doing the Before films, the fact of the matter is what Richard said is actually 100% correct. That film needed Ethan Hawke. It didn't need to have her. Everybody brings something different to the table, including what value do they bring to the project. Ethan Hawke was a much more established name. He's much more well-known. And I think Linklater is correct. I think that probably was a film that might not have even gotten off the ground if they weren't able to say to the funders, we got Ethan Hawke attached. That's not the same thing with Julie. I then agree with Julie. By the time you get to the third one, she is now equally as important to this franchise as he is. By the time you get to the third film, you can't do a third film without her.
Nope.
Just like you can't do a third film without him. So I think she was absolutely justified at that point to say, I'm not going to do this film unless I get paid equal to Ethan. At that point, I think it makes sense. Well, look, the reality is this. You will get paid according to what value you bring to the project. There was actually time, true story, Rob. There was a time where I had a show pitched to me, a movie kind of review show with me and Charles Barkley. I kid you not.
Really?
Yep.
What?
I was pitched this idea of a show with me and Charles Barkley once. And because I had a friend who was working with Charles Barkley. He used to work at Lionsgate. And he came to me with this idea. And I eventually turned it down because I didn't see it working. I didn't see it working at all. So I turned it down. But had we gone through and made that show, do you think there's any reality that exists that I would have gotten paid as much as Charles Barkley did for that show if that show ever actually happened? No chance. No chance in hell. And I wouldn't have argued with it. Now, if we had done that show and it got to season 5, 6, or 7, at that point I probably would have been saying, you know what? I'm just as important to this show as he is. I should be paid as much as he does at that time. In this case, I don't think Delpy at the time was paid less than Ethan because he was a man and she was a woman. I think that exists. Of course that exists, but I don't think that's the case here. I think the case here was you had a established superstar who was highly in demand and was going to bring a lot of recognition to the film. And you had somebody who North American audiences really didn't know, and they could have gotten somebody else. And as she became more important to the project, her salary went up until it got, rightfully so, to the point in the third film where she was making as much as Ethan Hawke. So I actually see no wrongdoing here by anybody. I don't think she was being unreasonable saying by the third film she demanded equal pay. I don't think it was unreasonable that she got paid significantly less than Ethan Hawke in the first couple of films, because that's the value he brought. So to me, Rob, it's actually a little bit of a much ado about nothing. How do you see the situation?
100%, John. Since you brought sports into it, I'm like, gosh, does every member of the Seattle Seahawks, the Jedi Knights of the Pacific Northwest, who had an incredible game on Thursday, does everyone get paid the same amount of money as Russell Wilson, the quarterback?
They don't?
No, John.
Oh, wow.
What?
No,
I assumed he made $20 an hour.
Yeah, you know, and here's the funny thing. This idea, I understand about equal work for equal pay. But the fact is, when it comes to making movies, stars are not all equal. Men, women, old, young, they're not all equal. They have different values based on their previous track record as stars, and also who's the movie about, whatever. There's many different factors. Now, if you have, say, an ensemble cast on a television show, I think, or you have Mulder and Scully, I think that David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson should get equal pay. Absolutely. 100%. Should not matter what your gender is or what your age is. But in the case of when you hire a movie star, the movie star brings value to the project instantaneously because of their previous work. And all of their past career has led them to your movie. They've decided to do your movie. You are benefiting off of that success. So you pay for that. Period.
Chris, as the only actress in the room, you hear a story but like that, what is your response to
My
it?
lady bits make me so qualified for this discussion.
More so than me.
I completely agree with you guys on this one. You know, there's something to be said for having a rookie in a movie. If I am in a movie with somebody who's a huge name, I'm not going to get as paid as much as them, and that's part of the appeal of having me in that movie. I'm a budget cut. You know, if you don't want to pay Mary Elizabeth Winstead, hi guys, come over and get me. I'll do it for so much less money. If you are not an established actor, regardless of your sex, you do have to pay your dues. And there is something to be said for getting exposure in films and everything. Now, if she is the lead in a film, leading a franchise, yeah, we need to give somebody more money. But at the start of your career, just like anything, you're going to start entry level and then you're going to build from there. I'm not going to run in and be like, hey, Rob, I've done some iMovie editing. I should be the editor on all these movies you do now, and you should pay me the exact same wage you get. That's bananas. It's just like anything in life.
But it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, true story. So I made a little film called The Anniversary, right? Now, I had an arrangement with SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, where I got to pay, because I was a low-budget film, well, really a no-budget film almost. So I was able to have union actors in my film for $100 a day. Mm-hmm. I could pay them $100 a day. That met the requirements. You know the highest paid actor in my movie was? A dog. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
My script called for a 3-legged dog. I needed a 3-legged dog. Do you know how many 3-legged dogs are out there that have been trained to be, you know, behaved and act a certain way on a movie set and blah, blah, blah? I found out, not many. I found that out. And whereas I remember I posted a casting call for my little no-budget movie, and I had over 1,000 people audition, not audition, but apply per role. Per role. Mm-hmm. I had to hunt and move heaven and earth to try to find a properly trained 3-legged dog, and the rate for that 3-legged dog was $250 for 4 hours.
Dang.
That was the rate. And guess what? There weren't any other qualified dogs out there that I could do that with at the time. Mm-hmm. So I had to pay this dog literally quadruple what I was paying my actors. But that's supply and demand. That's what I needed, the dog. I could not do it without the dog, and that's what his rate was.
You know, I wanted to point out, Chris, I wasn't disagreeing with you about the editor comment, but what I was saying is there are people that have just edited on iMovie that will demand what an editor with 10 years experience cutting features want. And by the way, what do I always say? You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Yeah.
So everybody's always trying to get, as much as they can.
We've had people at our other channel come in, though, for interviews to be editors, and they have the exact same skill set as me, and it's, no. I need someone who's so much smarter than me to do this. If I just want someone to do it on iMovie, I'll do it myself. I can do a fake green screen on there. I need qualified people. And this also isn't a situation, too, where you have, like, Michelle Williams versus, Marky Mark getting the pay gap there, that huge pay gap. This was something that, again, there was a build of time. She got paid equally later on. I feel like this one is much ado about nothing.
Question is, guys, how do you feel about that? What do you think about her making the statement? What do you think about Linklater's statement? Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.